Rabbit stalking is great fun. You can do it any time throughout the year, but some times are better than others. In the spring you can go out all day because the hours of daylight are still fairly short, and on a warm day the rabbits come out to the edge of the bushes to soak up the sunshine. Stalking is all about knowing what's going to be where, knowing where the rabbits hang out and how to approach them. You always stalk into the wind, so your scent is carried behind you. You never make a sound, so the easiest way is to take short footsteps and feel the ground before you put your full weight on it, because the sound of a cracking stick like this travels a long way. Rabbits in particular are very sensitive to high-pitched sounds, like that. Something rubbing on a branch. Any high-pitched sound. That's why you should never wear nylon clothing, because that rustles. Any rustle like that, they know there's danger around, and they're not going to hang around to check whether it's aimed at them or not. They just hide. Get out of the way quick. And of course you've got to wear fairly subdued clothing so you can creep within range and just gently move. Look around the edge of the bush or just over the top of the bank. Just slowly come up. And if there's rabbits going to be on the far side of the bank or just the far side of the bush, it helps get in position, then mount your rifle. And then slowly come up and you're ready to shoot. The rabbit may see that slight movement, up will come its head and you just shoot it. Or sometimes, of course, they don't even notice a slight movement. They just stay with their heads down and you can't quite get a decent shot. So if that happens, you just click your tongue, like that. Shh, anything. Just to make it up. What was that? Bang. Of course, if you know your ground really well, you can ambush the rabbits as they come out to feed in the dusk. Or in fact, when they're returning to their warrens early in the morning at first light. One of my favourite tricks is to get into a place where the wind carries my scent well behind me and out of their range, and just wait as it gets darker and darker and darker, and shoot them as they leave the warrens. You can get good bags. I got 20 one evening, just by waiting for them to trot down a path into this field and whacking them. The amazing thing is that they're not too worried about seeing their dead mates on the ground. And you just shoot and leave them. You've got to kill them staying dead, of course. But the others will come up and maybe sniff one and then carry on about their business. But you can get a really good bag that way, provided you know your ground, of course. You know the best place where you're going to get the last glow of the sunset, that last little bit of light. Or if necessary, you can silhouette them against a hilltop. Although, of course, you've got to be safety conscious and be aware of what lies over the top of the hill. For the biggest bags of rabbits, you need to go out at night with a lamp. There's two ways of doing this. You can either have somebody else carrying the lamp and doing the spotlighting for you whilst you do the shooting. The guy with the spotlight carries the rucksack and keeps all the dead rabbits. And then when that rucksack is full up, you empty it into a convenient place, especially if you've got a spare sack you can put the rabbits in so the foxes don't help themselves. And then you can change over, so that you both get shooting during the evening. Much of the time I go out on my own and use a headlamp on my forehead. That's quite tricky to use if you're not experienced with it, because you've got to slide it around over the left eye so it shines down along the top of the scope. It's important to survey the fields you're going to go lamping in during the daytime before you get out there in the cover of darkness, because everything looks different by night. So you've got to know the shape of the field, where the rabbits are coming from, and where they're feeding out to. Now here we have a classic situation. We've got a well-used rabbit scrape covered in droppings. So they're obviously coming a long way out into the fields at night. And they're actually coming from these warrens in the bank along here, and there are warrens in the bank over there, and some actually come from the bushes over here. So a lot of rabbits are congregating in this field. Mind you, it's not an easy field to lamp at the moment because the cover has been nibbled well down, right flat by the sheep. But even so, rabbits will find a little scrape, even like this little scrape here, where they can flatten themselves when they feel you're getting too close with the lamp, because that's what you're hoping for. Although some rabbits will run for home, one or two, or quite a few some nights, will just flatten down into the grass and hope you can't see them. But the whole field is surrounded by rabbits, and there's plenty of sign all over the place. If there's more cover, you'll be able to see all the runs coming out from the warrens, and you'll be amazed how far they'll go out into a field at night. They'll go 200 yards easily. And the purpose of all these rabbit droppings in the runs is so they can sniff their way back home. You'll notice quite a few rabbits have no trouble trotting back to their burrows at night, but they keep sniffing as they're going along to check they're on the right path. Now, when they get out a long way into a field, they're away from the main runs, and that is when they're most likely to jug down into the grass and hope you don't see them. They are, to a certain extent, slightly lost, and if you frighten them, they'll just run off aimlessly, and they'll only run a short distance. In that case, you can walk up really fast, and eventually they'll think, what on earth am I going to do now? Shoot them.